Hey, but moving on. Sort of the last thing we wanted to talk about, just because we've hit almost an hour. We still
Mm,
want to talk about a couple of things. Just sort of switching up the topic and the vibe. Like before, you were mentioning Jody that whilst you were in London, obviously there was periods where you weren't able to focus on your like creative sides because you're focusing on yourself and conquering your own things and like we also know you now like you've had some like mental health turbulences over the past years and everything. Yeah, how was it for you, like, I don't know, being in London, and like were there any sort of things that, I don't know, you've learned or had to really overcome? Because knowing you personally, I know that you've grown an insane amount over the past years and overcame a lot of like mental struggles, among other things, and like it's very apparent in you, that you've come a long way. And so I think that's really inspiring for me, but also just for people to hear, about how you've sort of overcome that. So yeah, when did that sort of start, and how did you sort of start to
Um,
overcome certain things?
so yeah, mental health is something that's really important to me, talking about it and everything. It started when I was 13. Well, I suppose that's when my first memory of kind of struggling was.
Mm,
Um, it's kind of that classic tale of my parents got a divorce and I didn't really handle it that well, especially like living in Tanzania. They didn't just break up, like my mum moved back to Scotland. So
right.
um, I suppose it all started around then. But I didn't really understand it while we were at school because I didn't really have the space to explore it, I suppose. I just knew that I was an emotional kid. I knew that I struggled, but I didn't really understand why.
Mm,
Um, uh, yeah, I don't really know. I suppose it got a lot worse when I came to London because I think a lot of us international kids would struggle anyway. Moving from obviously where you were living, coming to, somewhere in Europe, like I really struggled just alone with moving from Dar to London.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
that was a big process for me because I kind of realized that I didn't know who I was. I thought I did, and I
Mm,
thought I was this fully realized person. Once we graduated, I thought, and moving to London, I realized like who am I? Like outside of the context of our friendship group, like who is Jody, Like cuz even
mm,
when we were in Dar, I didn't really have hobbies. I didn't really do anything other than hang out with you guys.
right.
And that was a big thing to do with my mental health also is that I didn't ever really want to be alone and I was never really at home. Like if I had the opportunity to go out with you guys and hang out with my friends, like I would take it.
mm,
And I wasn't really I was focusing more on trying to, be happy with my friends than developing myself. So when I came to London, I was like, yo, yo, who am I? I was like, what's going on? I
mm,
Yeah.
was
mm,
all of a sudden on my own, like making new friends, like, and like in this whole different context of myself. So that alone was a big struggle for me. Um, and I was really unfortunate. I encountered a lot of bad things in my first year. Hung out with a couple of bad people that didn't present themselves to be bad people when I first met them, but as time
Mm,
progressed, some stuff happened with them. So my first year was a bit rocky, and yeah, I don't know. There's so much to talk about. Like there's
mm,
so many things I could say, but I think one of my biggest lessons that I've learned and the reason why I'm so doing so much better now is that I'm the only one that can change stuff for myself. Like, I can't rely on my friends, my family,
mm,
doctors, medication. I can't rely on anything to do anything for me. Like, it has to come from myself. Like, I have to do it for myself. And that was something that I really struggled with because what I found with mental health, and I don't know, I think a lot of people will kind of feel the same way, is that because I didn't know who I was, as a person, like I said, I was
yeah,
having
yeah.
identity
Hmm.
issues. My mental health felt like the only kind of special thing about me, and that's so
Like it
messed up
became
to
your
say.
identity, kind
Yeah,
of just
it's so
being.
messed up to say, but it's like I was like the only thing I have. Like at the time, I wasn't thinking this, but like looking back and seeing how I was acting, I feel like I was kind of holding on to this thing because I was like, if I'm not depressed, then who am I? If I'm
Mm,
not
mm, mm.
struggling with anxiety,
Damn.
if out if I'm like, then who am I?
And were the
Um,
people around you also like, did they also have like mental struggles or anything like that? Like, were you around those type of people as well, that it kind
um,
of kept you in that niche?
yeah, I did have a couple friends who struggled with their mental health as well. And, at first, you kind of think that it's something that, you help each other. It makes you both stronger. You have someone to listen to you. They know what you're going through. But it's so, see, I never want to be the person that says don't surround yourself with people that struggle with their mental health because they'll just bring you down. Because I struggle with my mental health, and would I want someone not to be my friend because I'm just going to bring them down? No. Like I've had multiple conversations with like family where they're like, you have to surround yourself with like happy people, which I do
Mm,
really agree with, but I never want to not be friends with someone because they struggle with
right.
their mental health, because I would hate for someone to do that to me.
Mm, mm,
But certain people just aren't healthy for you, um, I suppose. And I think, especially in my first year, I was one of those people. Like, I didn't want to help myself. And I think I did lose a couple friends because they couldn't see me go through that. Like, I
mm,
suppose it gets frustrating when and like, you guys probably even felt it too. Like, I spoke to you about it. Like, it's frustrating to talk to someone who's struggling, but they don't want to help themselves. So
right.
it's like, I can only help you so much. Like, if you're not going to help yourself, then no one, no one can do
No one
anything.
can. Yeah.
And that's it. Like, once you reach that understanding that you're like, I can get myself through this, then you're good. Like, I'm not saying all your problems go away, but that's honestly such a turning point. Like, when I
Mm,
came to that realization that I was like, I'm like ruining my own life, like, I'm not trying, like, like, it's so, yeah, I don't know. It's a
mm,
weird one.
mm,
It's a weird
Yeah.
one because it does feel so, when you haven't reached that point yet,
Mm.
it feels so impossible. It feels really impossible. If you wake up and you feel like you can't get out of bed, it feels so impossible to even go to the toilet, bro. Like, to
mm.
get up and eat, like, all that stuff. Like, it feels so impossible. And then you do it and you're like, okay, it's not
I
that bad.
can do it.
Da-da-da-da.
Right.
And honestly, it is just finding that energy and that strength to just do things. Um,
Mm.
like, just get up and do it. And even if you don't feel, even if you don't want to, even if you don't feel like it's gonna help, like, if you just
Mm,
get up and do it, honestly, it does. It really does help. Um, so I just started making an active choice to be happier. Like, even though there was
Mm.
nothing going on to make me happy, I was just like, nah, like, just do things, like, I would go out for walks by myself, like, just go
mm.
around London, have a day to myself, like,
But was
just get
there
up and do things.
was there because you're saying like it has to come from yourself, you have to make that realization like I'm the only one that can make that change, and that it's sort of like it's a sort of like a turning point, right?
Hmm.
And like, but was there anything that stimulated that turning point? Like I don't know, like contextually, did you move? Did you surround yourself by different people? Was there something that kind of made it easier for that, that realization to come?
um I think a big thing that helped me was, I think the start of my turning point was honestly getting my tattoo, which Matthew was there for.
Yes, I
I have
was. I remember
I
that.
have, I have
Uh,
a little red dragon on my rib.
Go with a
And
dragon tattoo.
yeah. Um, that I think was honestly the start of my turning point. That I was like, I posted a little thing about it on Instagram, but I've archived it now because,
yeah, we remember. At least
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Um,
were there. We were there in the comments.
yeah. I want to have that post up, but there's two photos, and I think the second one is a bit. I was a bit too. I just, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a big turning point for me, getting that tattoo, because that was kind of like a physical promise to myself to do better and to be stronger.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and it was worth the pain. I know I was squeezing Matthew's hand the whole time, bro. But
Wow.
I think, I don't really know. I think I moved house in that year. That was a big turning point for me because I made a new friend group at my local, at the pub, and they helped me through a lot. If I was struggling, like, at home or whatever, I would just go around and I would just be with them while they worked, and I kind of just embedded myself into their little pub scene, and that really helped me, you know, making those new friends and having more of like an active social life. And then finishing uni, lockdown, honestly, like lockdown was so important for me. Lockdown was really beneficial for me, because I feel like a lot of people experience this, you know, you're kind of stuck with your own thoughts, you know, stuff that you were trying to distract yourself from thinking about before, that it all came up, you know, we all had to address these things. And I kind of was alone with my thoughts, and I realized what I wanted and where I wanted to go. And I also kind of developed like a new sense of self, I suppose, during lockdown. And then Nomadic came about. So,
Timing. It's all about timing.
See?
Timing, for real. Yeah, but
I
no,
said earlier.
that's interesting though, cause I always wonder, like, I don't know, I've had some friends with like some mental struggles as well, and like I always feel like doing something new or surrounding yourself by new people, new places, new things, getting a tattoo. I feel like those little things can make such a big difference. Like it can just be like a little trigger to realize like, damn, there is something outside of this inner struggle and this inner like this space that I'm in. So that's cool, man. That's really inspiring to hear that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know that's you know, it is quite a sensitive topic, obviously, to be talking about. So we appreciate you being really honest and yeah, just sharing with the fam, really, like.
Yeah, man.
I think it's really important to talk about these things because, you know, more people than not struggle with their mental health, no matter the severity of it, you know, even if it's just like a little thing that as long as it's kind of affecting who you are and affecting your daily life, like it's something that you should, you know, talk about and get help for, and you know, no matter the size or whatever. But yeah, I'm always down to talk about it. I think it not only helps me, but I feel like it's just good to have these conversations.
Yeah. And do you feel now, like, last question, like you're also with Nomadic and everything, and where you are right now, do you feel more like confident in you as like a person kind of thing, and like your identity kind of finding yourself and shit? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what's up.
For sure.
That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. You know, like, just get to hear positive come out of it.